And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, I guess you could kind of call this a part 2 of a card grading comparison video series I've been doing. In the first video, we looked at a base set Raichu at a PSA 8, a Beckett 8, and a CGC 8, and we compared the different grades. And then in the same video, we also compared a Skyridge Raichu to a CGC 9 and a PSA 9. And at those very high grades, like here's an example of 3 Raichus that are just from CGC 8.5s. To nitpick the grades for each one of these, we wouldn't really get too far. Yeah, maybe you can make the argument for 8, maybe you can make it for a 9, but at these higher grades, the grades are very comparable. Now, the issue I ran into while I'm looking at CGC grades is what they grade at lower grades. So I just grabbed a stack of all Raichu Unlimited base set. You know, we got a 4, we got 1, 2, 3 5s, a 5.5, 1, 2, 3, 4 6s, 2 6.5s. But for this video, we're really just going to compare 2 of the same grades. We're going to look at the 2 CGC 5s, and we're just going to look at them, and we're going to see how similar or how different these grades are for this same exact grade at what I would consider a lower grade. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just take these out of the plastic wrapper. And the reason why we'll take them out is just to make it easier on ourselves to really be able to examine the cards. And now as I hold these cards next to each other, I want to know if you guys instantly identify an issue with one of these cards. You know, keep in mind, these are both 5s. So yeah, we're going to see some very obvious issues. And probably you guys are leaning to the card to the left. And as you can tell from the card to the left, you do have this very strong crease in this card. It looks like almost somebody bent over this card and, you know, just put this huge crease in it. And that's very obvious. And then, yeah, there's some very obvious, you know, call it chipping or scratches in the front. You got a lot of corner wear. You got edge wear on this card. You got some real bad silvering going on this card. And anytime you have a card that has a lot of wear, a lot of play, you're going to see a lot of these very similar issues. And then the same thing in the back. I mean, this was a well-loved, heavily played Raichu. I mean, up here you can see a ton of edge wear. This corner is beat to hell. Going down this corner, it's the same all the way through this card. And then when you want to talk about, just like I said, textbook chipping, if you look right here, that is some real strong chipping, especially right there and right there. I mean, this is an extremely generous 5 in my opinion. And then as you compare it to this 5, yeah, you can see a lot of that, you know, edge wear, which you expect to see. Like I said, these are still 5s. But now, as I hold these 2 cards next to each other, I feel it's very obvious, you know, which card is the poorer of the 2 5s. And in my opinion, it's definitely the one to the left. And again, as you look at the front of that card and you look at that bottom right-hand corner, you can see that huge crease. I mean, this is what makes me nervous. And the reason this kind of stuff makes me nervous is, like I said, because when you get into higher rarity cards, like, you know, a lot of the base set first edition cards or some of the gold star cards at lower grades, you know, they can still demand a huge premium. And especially when you start running into those cards and you start running into them raw and you want to start pricing them out in order to purchase them, it's extremely important that you guys get familiar with grading standards at lower grades. But my fear is with CGC is just how blatantly inconsistent these 2 5s are. And yeah, these are just Raichu base set unlimited 5s. And, you know, nobody's going to bat an eye. Why do I own so many Raichu graded cards? Well, the reason I own all these is because I have been trying to complete my collection of graded cards from 1 all the way up to 10, including all subgrades. So that means 1.5s, 2.5s, 3.5s, 4.5s and go, you know, all the way up to 10. And I found it to be very hard. But while I've been trying to do that, and the fact that I've graded so many more high-end cards and I've gotten lower grades, I've really gotten more familiar with lower grading standards. And like I said, guys, I've never experienced such large inconsistencies at these lower grades. And I really felt 5 would have been a great starting point because it's literally smack dab in the middle of that 1 through 10 grading scale. And it's just something I want you guys to keep in mind. And I want you guys to know, do you believe, after seeing this video, do you believe these are both 5s? Or do you believe that these are, in fact, different grades? Do you think that this 5 in my left hand, with that huge crease line and that drastic chipping and edge wear, do you believe it's the same as this 5? Guys, this is a travesty at how drastic the difference in grades are for these two cards. But I want to know your guys' opinion now that you've really been able to examine them and looking at them. And let me know what you think. Do you think that these two cards are the same grade? But I want to make this video. I want to bring this to your attention. I want to have a conversation because I do believe in this hobby, it's so important to have these type of conversations. But let me know. Listen, if you're new to the channel and somehow you've made it to the end of this video and you heard me kind of ramble for a little bit, do me a favor. Go down below, hit that subscribe button. Other than that, hit that like button. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.